Hello Leo friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Leo October 2020 Astrology Must Knows. This is possibly one of the most intense months of the year. The amount of transformation that is about to occur in this October, November, December timeframe is mind-boggling. There are so many layers to understand about this month. I'm going to give them all to you, so let's just start right from the beginning. The way to best understand this month in a nutshell is to think back to June and July, okay? June and July had some similar factors that are at play this month, but then we have additional things which I will list. This month is going to be very emotional, very intense, very alchemical, okay? The first reason is because we have Mercury retrograde in a water sign again. In June and July, we had Mercury retrograde through Cancer. Now we have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. Okay, so things from the past, things having uncertainty, if you remember kind of how uncertain things were in that time, where I told you all you kind of got to wait till the end of July to get some clarity, and I'm sure you saw that that was true. And this is similar, okay? So things that seem to be set will be cast into uncertainty at this time. The certainty will start coming back more, but it's going to be more into November. The latter part of November, December, and January is a whole brand new world, individually and in the world. And things will start opening up. We'll have the end of the retrograde year, you know, the momentum coming back, and another eclipse cycle. We'll have Jupiter and Saturn going into Aquarius, leaving this crazy restriction of Capricorn. So this is just like a crazy time, okay? So one of the must-knows for this month is to keep your plans light. You can make them, but just know that they need to be flexible. I've seen a lot of airlines now letting people make very flexible plans with, you know, no cancellation fees. If you feel like you want to go somewhere or have to go somewhere, or it's indicated to do that. You do have some international energy that's showing up for you. So, you know, there are many ways that can manifest, but just keep it flexible is the point. And if you don't make plans to go, you might find that an opportunity to go somewhere far away may come up randomly last minute. But as long as you keep everything flexible and light, try to take on as minimal projects as possible, you know, leave your schedule clear, you'll be really happy you did, because your emotions, other people's emotions, things from the past, things that are culminating, things that are about to crack open are all going to present at this time. Eclipse news may start to present as well. So the more clear your schedule is, the more you can adequately deal with this in a grounded, productive way. If you're overscheduled and thinking things are going to stay set, you'll be much more stressed out. Okay, that's why I tell you about this stuff early. Another similarity with this month compared to June and July is the eclipse energy. Okay, so we had eclipses in June and July. They were quite intense. We ended the Cancer Capricorn eclipse cycle and started the Sagittarius Gemini eclipse cycle. And now in November and December, we have eclipses again. The reason why I'm talking about this in October, if you've listened to my work for a while, you already know the reason why. Because 4 to 6 weeks before eclipses happen, we often get the rumbling. It's like a pot coming to a boil. It doesn't just boil in a second. There's a time where it's building, building, building. And October is that prime time of building, especially for that November, but also could be for that December eclipse that's coming. News, storylines that started in the summer or for the winter for you all down under might come back again into the forefront and be moving along a continuum. So that's going to gather a lot of intensity. And part of the intensity may come from feeling like a change is coming, seeing a change is coming, or even having news of something about to happen, but it's not happened yet. This month is very much like this egg that is just about to crack and is like quivering and shaking and about to crack open, but it's in that tension point of it not having cracked yet. And you can kind of even see some of the things in the world, like the elections in the United States. You know, October is going to be very emotional. The world is going to be watching. And a lot of uncertainty or things that seem set may start switching around at that time, but we're not going to have that clarity until we get deeper into November. And then November, December, and January are much more open. If you have to do a launch or make some plans or do something important or wait to make some decisions, that time into December And January is going to bring you more clarity about the direction of the eclipses, the direction of all of the other things that have been culminating and the things that came back from the past. Then you'll have a better idea. Plus you'll have the needed oomph, because remember, Mars is still retrograde. Mars rules our oomph, our momentum, and it's going backwards. So while you might notice that you're coasting in a lot of ways with certain things flowing magically, things you try to force that aren't flowing, if you try to force them, that energy will be boomeranged back at you. Any act of aggression or assertion that is put out in Mars retrograde that is giving you signs of not being indicated will boomerang back at you. So you can have a much easier coasting type of energy if you just don't put your fire towards something where it's not working out. Let more subtle energies guide you around. And if you can do that, it can be so much more easier. Okay, so high emotions, changes to plans, uncertainty. Don't force things. We've got a lot of energy from this eclipse that's building, we talked about, and from the sun moving into Scorpio and from Mercury being retrograde in Scorpio. Plus, we have 2 full moons this month. We know what 1 full moon looks like, right? It's this building, this climax, this, emotional freak out, this something coming to fruition or light or being revealed. And we have that twice this month, October 1st and October 31st. 2 full moons, the first in Aries, the second in Taurus. The second full moon in a sign or a calendar month is called a blue moon. So not only is there a full moon on Halloween, Samhain, All Hallows Eve, this magical, mystical time, but that full moon is a blue moon. So it's very unusual to have a full moon at that time. And it's even more unusual to have a blue moon at that time. So some very uncommon experiences are likely to happen at that time. If you do spiritual work, you may have a very transcendent experience. If you're working on something, you may have a major breakthrough, something that a case you're trying to crack or a mystery you're working on could have information revealed. And the veils are very thin between worlds at that time. So connections to people who've crossed over, things like that, you might notice something. A very important must know about this time is that Uranus is involved at this moon, okay? And that brings this unpredictable, jolting possibility. The jolt can be not positive, so I would be super careful with not getting too carried away with something. You won't need to do much to have the breakthroughs at this time. So doing something in excess to try to get at breakthroughs might not be well indicated because this Uranus factor. But for some people, that jolt could be something that turns out to be pleasant, okay? But it is a little bit more in favor of something that's a little more stressful. So just kind of carry that with you, because magic is going to be afoot, but mayhem might also be afoot, okay? So just be very aware of that. Okay, so the energies that are brought up from these full moons have to do with publishing, teaching, learning, international business. And this is regardless of the fact that there have been restrictions in travel, okay? So there are many ways international things can show up, with different languages, with studies, with international virtual connections, or making plans. But it could very well be something involving travel. So just kind of be aware of that. Finding a perfect education program, finding a perfect teaching job or opportunity, or teaching abroad or something like that. Those kind of things might come up for you. For those of you who are July-born Leos, you're more likely to have this in your work and career sector. The second moon, that is, the one on the 31st. But for the rest of you Leos, the August-born, if your work is in teaching or writing or publishing or international things, then your work can also be highlighted because of the movement in the 9th house, okay? People that have 9th house type of work tend to have their work highlighted when there's something that goes on in that 9th house, okay? You might see very important relationship things occur. The planets are moving through Libra and Scorpio. Those are the 2 relationship signs. And for those of you who are, let's see, August born, that first moon may actually get you in the 8th house, okay? So the 8th house, something coming to fruition or fulfillment with shared resources, intimacy, sex, power, pregnancies, birth, death, inheritances, taxes, borrowing money, getting a loan, something like that. Some news or information can come in. Now this isn't, I don't want to discourage you from trying to get at financial resources this month, because you can have some breakthroughs, but remember that uncertainty factor. Things are more likely to gel in November and December, and anything that comes in now is likely to shift. So maybe if you find some funding this month, it might fall through, and then your real one will come in the next month or something like that. But you can be certainly researching and open to the possibilities without forcing. Okay, so this month of October is very much like an encapsulation of the whole year. So as Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto have been meeting in the energies of late Capricorn, it's been a monumental time in history, because late Capricorn energy is like the epitome of the patriarchal, old, traditional systems that have been in place, and in some cases very archaically still followed through, that have been supporting everything. And now with Saturn and Jupiter dancing in Aquarius and about to go into Aquarius permanently, this new, this innovative, this radical, this change is taking place. And this year we've been kind of teeter-tottering on that change. And this month of October is like the pinnacle of the energy that we've been in transition for this whole year. So the energy of transition is what I'm likening this whole year to, and especially this month. And I don't mean the definition transition that we know of. I mean, it is true, but what I'm looking at more is the technical birthing term. Okay, when a woman is in transition and she says, I can't do this. There's no way this is going to happen. This baby's never coming out. And other various crazy things that a woman feels and thinks at that time. That's because the baby is literally about to come out. And that's how birthers or experienced birthers or birth helpers know that the baby, transition is occurring, this phase of the pregnancy. And that's what we're in now. October is I can't do this. It's impossible. Nothing's going to work out. There's no way. And then November into December, and then January, like we break in, the birth happens the new way. So we've got 2 jobs for this year epitomized in this month, okay? The first is to look at in our own lives, and then on the community and global level, what of the old ways, the systems, the traditions, the ancient wisdom, are we going to take with us as the foundation for the new system? Okay, and that in your daily experience, like what of the things you just do because they're habit? What's actually working for you? What makes sense? What are you doing unconsciously that like has no basis in reality? How are you treating yourself? What are the words you're using? How are you viewing your life? Like all of these belief patterns. How are you engaging in your relationships? What does your work look like? What are those pieces that you still hold true? Take those with you as you're seeing the new things come in. Okay, the second job that we have is I'm calling it the rise of the stable revolutionary, okay? Because the energy of Aquarius is like the energy of the radical revolutionary. But since Saturn, the epitome of this old, restricted, patriarchal, system is going to be moving into Aquarius. So we're going to be balancing the old with the new in really magical ways. But they're very divergent and they're coming together. And this year has been about that awkwardness of what it looks like when we're having all the systems be tested. How are we going to build new systems? What are we going to take with us? And the energy of the revolutionaries are known to be erratic and reckless and, kamikaze. They're just not, they're visionary, but they're also short-sighted in the way that they're just trying to get change to happen. But exactly how that change is going to stick is not really their concern per se. But this energy that we have the opportunity for ourselves and in the bigger picture has to do with this stability of Saturn and the revolutionary energy of Aquarius blending together in these magical ways. So how you are going to find more stability in your approach? Where have you been reckless that you need to be more stable? Where do you need to take more risks? So finding that beautiful point within yourself is what we're about to crack into, and the uncertainty and the impossibility of it all is going to well up in October. One more thing that I wanted to talk about has to do with the energy of Libra. The energy of Libra happens to move in beautiful aspect to Leo. So this time has these beautiful things just naturally for Leo placements. But the energy of all of the signs does correspond with body parts, and it can be good things about those body parts, or it can be challenging things. And with all the levels of what we've got going on this month, add the Libra in. Libra rules the kidney, and the kidney is associated with fear. Okay, so I've been talking about how Mars rules anger and aggression and resentment, and how the liver and the gallbladder, the liver has the anger and the gallbladder has the resentment, and how those organs are coming into play and those emotions that are repressed that are coming up. And that's going to be happening a lot at this time too, all these repressed emotions. One of those is going to be fear. There's a fear channel that starts at the adrenals, which is here by the kidneys, and then the kidneys, and then go down the psoas muscle, which attaches at the vertebrae here, and then goes through the hips and then comes out here. And then this energy goes down the thighs, through the knees, down through the feet. There's a fear channel. And if everything's flowing well, you'll have the fear and it'll flow through, and it won't get you stuck and paralyzed. But what happens, I'm finding, is that this psoas muscle, PSOAS, which is this hip flexor, which gets tensed as we sit, and people are sitting a lot more, and they were even at their work beforehand, right? This is very tense. People don't do the counter stretch for their hip flexors very often. And this muscle and the piriformis, which is a hip rotator, PIRIFORMIS, which is often responsible for sciatica, which is a fear response. These muscles get really tight, and they hold the tension of the fear circuits, and they don't let the energy pass through, which paralyzes you with fear. So you have an opportunity this month to have all this fear. There's going to be a lot of fear in the world. There's going to be a lot of fear in your individual experience. But it's meant for us to break through. You don't have to fear the fear. You can look forward to the fact that it's about to crack open, and you can do some things to facilitate this. And one thing is to release and keep stretched your psoas and piriformis muscles. If you have brittle bones, or if you're not very flexible, or if you have a hip replacement or something that you might require you to do this medically, like with a practitioner that can do these releases for you, then do it that way. But for everyone else, look into how to stretch those muscles, the psoas and the piriformis. And if you keep those stretched, you may notice that this thing I'm talking about, that I've noticed, this subtle, this fear cycle or flow circuit won't get welled up and paralyze you if you can keep those muscles stretched as a regular commitment, not just randomly. So we have that opportunity this month. Fortunately, Jupiter, which went direct in September, will be flowing much better now. So the optimism, the solutions will start coming in. Jupiter is going to come and make these clashes with the outer planets as the last storyline that started the mischief that we've had this year. So we're going to look to a lot of completion and a lot of things really radically changing. If you want even more information about what to expect this month and how to navigate the transits, I do a very extensive write-up that I give to my email community for free. When you sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com, I do a write-up that I send to you 1 month early that has all the salty aspects, all the sweet aspects, and we do once again have double the salty aspects this month. So you'll see what they are, where they are, how to navigate around them, what the general energies are of the month written, and some of the things that I talked about just in a written format, delivered into your inbox 1 month early. I only send out 3 emails a month, so I won't spam you, and I don't send your email list to anybody else. I don't like that, so I don't do that. Just all information based for things that are astrological transits that you can make the most of with the things that I've created. You also get my 28-day virtual coaching program for free called Shine when you are in my email community. If you want, oh, and by the way, all the links I'm giving you are in the notes underneath the video. So if you click on the more button with the arrow underneath the video, it will reveal all of these links. You can see my Mars retrograde links. You can also search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde. You can get written horoscopes by me that are super simple, much less technical than my videos at cozybysweetstarlight.com. Those are also up a month early. And it's a beautiful site that has all kinds of astrology kissed herbal teas and for each sign and yoga for the signs. It's just a beautiful site. You will love it. If you'd like to have some free classes, take some free classes, you can go to my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, at lumlife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I have a course that was a paid course that's now free called Unleash Your Money Magnet. You can also see my paid courses there, including my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. If you want to do astrology just for yourself and just dive deep into the study and practice, or to do it professionally, I give you everything you need in my very comprehensive course. You can pre-order my book, Planetology. That is a groundbreaking book. It's the first of its kind to talk about how you can make the most of the planetary movements and align with the natural rhythms of the universe. You can pre-order that now, and then you'll get it first when it comes out, which is in December. And you can just search for Annie Botticelli Planetology, and it will be available through every major bookseller. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.